The NCAA tournament is back after a one-year hiatus. It's been too long since March had some madness in it, but that's what makes this year's tournament such an anticipated event. Sure, tournament staples like Duke and Kentucky didn't make it for the first time in almost 50 years. Teams will have to navigate through countless health and safety protocols because of the ongoing pandemic, and the state of Indiana will host all 68 teams and 67 games over the next 3 weeks.
Whew, that just seems like a lot, huh?
Let's break it all down so you can sound like an expert in your next Zoom meeting. So sit back, relax, and take this in. Before we jump into March Madness, I think it would be madness if you haven't already subscribed to our channel. I mean, you're watching the videos anyways, it just makes sense. Now back to the video. Duke and Kentucky are usually mainstays at the tournament, but this year fans of the Blue Devils and Wildcats will have to cheer for another team. Despite being ranked 10th in the nation coming into the year, Kentucky finished the season 9-16. That's the worst win percentage by a preseason top 10 team since the preseason poll debuted in 1961.
You guys are bad.
Duke, who went 13-11 after beginning the season ranked 9th, will miss the tournament for the first time since 1995, breaking the third longest active streak of tournament appearances. Coach K's Blue Devils also didn't have a chance for the automatic bid that was up for grabs in the ACC tournament because the team had to bow out of their conference tourney before the quarterfinals due to a positive test. Speaking of health and safety protocols, the NCAA has implemented strict rules for players, coaches, and staff arriving in Indiana. 6 officials have already been removed from this year's tournament after one of the refs tested positive and the other 5 were forced to quarantine due to contact tracing. All personnel from each team must register 7 straight days of negative tests before traveling to the tournament, and each team bus has assigned seating in order to practice social distancing. Upon arrival in Indianapolis, no teams are allowed to practice or leave quarantine until 2 separate tests are administered, at least 12 hours apart, that produce negative results. And in the event a team can't produce the minimum 5 required players to play a game, the show goes on, with that team's opponents advancing to the next round. With over 2,300 people in the travel parties for the 68 teams, the NCAA will be implementing a controlled environment just for players and coaches, where NCAA staff members, cleaning crews, relatives, and fans won't be able to enter. Teams in their travel parties also won't be able to roam the streets of Indianapolis. Instead, they'll stay inside the Indiana Convention Center and its connected hotels, where teams will have their own dedicated floors and meeting rooms.
Now, if you break any of these rules, you can't sit with us at lunch.
And yes, there will be fans in attendance, but no more than 25% capacity in any stadium. If you're wondering why go through all this trouble, the answer, as always, is money. The NCAA tournament generates roughly $800 million in an average year, which makes up more than 70% of the NCAA's entire annual revenue. The cancellation of last year's tournament was the big reason why the NCAA reported a net loss of $56 million in the fiscal year. So there's clearly a lot on the line for the NCAA, but there's also a lot on the line for the teams competing. Chief among them is top-ranked Gonzaga, led by projected lottery picks Jalen Suggs and sharpshooter Corey Kispert. The Bulldogs are trying to become the first undefeated champions since Indiana accomplished the feat in 1976. But the tourney gives us a chance to watch plenty of other NBA prospects too. Moses Moody of Arkansas, Florida State's Scotty Barnes, USC big man and projected top 5 pick Evan Mobley, and of course, projected number 1 overall pick Cade Cunningham, whose play at Oklahoma State has been a revelation and who has the NBA cellar dwellers foaming at the mouth.
I need him.
There's excitement and nervousness in the air, no doubt. A tournament that serves as the lifeblood for the entire NCAA needs to be pulled off in the middle of a pandemic. An undefeated team is trying to do something no one's done in 45 years. Prospects are trying to prove their NBA worth on the biggest stage in college basketball. And of course, it wouldn't be March Madness without a Cinderella story writing itself at some point. So, what are you most excited for? Let us know in the comments and strap in for some of the most exciting weeks in the basketball calendar.